Welcome to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind you. The heart of a lion, a team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind you. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames. They gon' do their thing. Take it to another level, don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. Number one spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
And welcome inside a Wednesday episode of YSN Live. And you know what Wednesdays in the winter bring you. It is Wrestling Wednesdays with Gary Altizer, our wrestling guru, my sidecar, right next to me. Man, it is February 11th, 2026, the only one you're going to get. We'll try to make it the best one possible. Gary, welcome to another week. Thanks for coming on.
Excited to be here. Can't believe that we're almost to the postseason. Flying by, man.
Teams are wrapping up those conference tournaments, wrapping up conference duels. We're going towards an exciting weekend, and I think the tournament draw where the districts where we know where every team's going to go for districts, right? The draw was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we know where every team's going to go at least. So we can preview that today too. But before we get to all the excitement, all the recapping, all the previewing, we have a very special guest today on Wrestling Wednesday. We like to bring on a wrestler every single week, and we continue that this time around. We have a big dog of the valley, a very strong competitor, someone that the community loves so much in Brookfield, sophomore Isabella Williams coming on.
Hello.
Isabella, thank you so much for coming on talking to us today.
It's a pleasure.
So I'm gonna dive right in. You're a sophomore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You were a folk style state qualifier last year with your school team. OWA state champion 2 or 3 times, right? Greco state champion. I have a funny feeling I already know what your goal is for this year. But why don't you tell us where you want this season to end?
I want to end placing at states, and I want to end knowing that I tried my hardest to win or get wherever I can.
You know, you talk about the goals that you have for this year, but you've already accomplished so much in just one year of being a high school wrestler. What was it like preparing for this year, trying to raise the bar and set new goals and kind of make yourself even better than you were in year one?
It was challenging when I first started, and now that I feel I have 1 year down, I've only got 3 left, and if I don't try hard every year like it's my first, it could as well be my last. So I try hard no matter what.
So I was looking at some of your results. It looks like you bounced back and forth from 140 to 145. Have you settled on a weight yet for the postseason?
Not entirely. I'm just floating between those 2 weights. If I dropped down, then I'm going to wrestle that. If I go up, I'm going to wrestle whatever I can to wrestle as many matches as I can.
When you talk about this season and the ups and flows that you've had this year, what have been some of the highlights so far for you, some of the big moments, some of the core memories that you have in your sophomore season?
Some of my core memories would be big matches where my team was on the side watching and cheering me on, and the times in my practice room where I was able to practice with all my teammates and we all worked hard and we're improving by leaps and bounds.
So every week I ask on here, this is your chance to give a shout out to your teammates. Every good wrestler has a good drilling partner or partners. Why don't you give your teammates a shout out that push you in the room and tell us what they bring to the table?
There's quite a few good teammates that I practice with. Braden Reed, I practice with him. Donovan O'Brien, Lucky, and my sister Delaney. They all push me and challenges me to be the best wrestler I can be. Best person on and off the mat.
When you talk about them pushing you and them kind of making you better, what are some things that you've already seen from practicing with them that you think you've improved on with them in the wrestling room?
I'm gonna say like scrambles. When I started, it was straightforwards, and now that I get to wrestle with them almost every day, I've improved so much in ways I couldn't have imagined my middle school years.
So you wrestle year round, I take it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you wrestled all three styles, folk style, Greco, freestyle. Tell us which one's your favorite and why.
My favorite is Greco. It's not well known, but the challenge of being able to stand up to someone and there's no defending like how someone might do in a folk style. I'm able to like throw in my moves. Yeah, it's very fun. That's my most favorite.
I like that you say that you're able to throw in your moves because you have a lot of moves. What are some of your favorite, like your go-to? This is my takedown move. This is the one that I can use in my back pocket because it's my strength.
I don't even know, truly. I've learned so many moves, and it honestly is whatever I feel that day. If I have a goal in mind, I'm gonna try to get it. At least one of my matches, I'm gonna try to like hit some type of move that I think I can get. It changes every week. With every move I learn, it's something new.
Okay, every week we ask this. It seems to be the most fun question that we get to ask. It's the day of the match. You get on the scale. You're 1/10 under, whatever weight you're wrestling. You get off. The relief is there. What is your go-to if you could have any meal? What would you go to and why?
My go-to meal would be avocado melt from Panera. It's so good, instant.
Gary, I think that's the first time we've heard that one. I mean,
Absolutely, is the first time we've heard that one. That's a great answer.
We've gotten a lot of firsts this year. I like it. Last year we got a lot of McDonald's and
Uncrustables. Everybody
Uncrustables. But now we're getting new answers. I like it. Avocados from Panera. That's the first for that. I like it. In the same kind of vein, when you're talking about, you like to stay healthy, but you have to have some guilty pleasure, snacks or meals. What are some of those guilty pleasures for you that you have that you can eat maybe in the off season or maybe when you have a time when you're not, super locked into maybe what weight you have to be?
Like the foods like that, honestly, are like yogurts.
Do you have a favorite?
Yogurt.
Have a favorite flavor of yogurt?
Strawberry.
Strawberry yogurt. We know what to get Isabella for a treat. That's good. That's good news.
Isabella eats much healthier than most.
Yes,
of the guests we have on this show. That's pretty evident.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Way to go. Way to be a standard.
So every good wrestler, I think they have a time in their career, a time in their life where maybe they feel like this is when I took a step forward, whether it was an age, a grade, a summer. What do you feel like? Did it come gradual? Was there a point where you think things changed for you mentally, where you just took that step and you became, a level better than you were in the past?
I don't know entirely because like when I've always tried to strive to my best. If I tried something from a young age, I tried it to the full capability. Like my sister, mostly, if I look at her, I want her to look at me knowing that I tried my best and she could look up to me.
We see the sport of wrestling continue to grow and grow and grow. What's your pitch to people when you're trying to get them to come on to the wrestling team, or you're trying to kind of sell the sport? What are some selling points that you have for the sport of wrestling?
Selling points for the sport of wrestling is it's individual. So there's no one to blame but yourself if you mess up. But it's also, if you tried your hardest, you tried your hardest. It's not you passed the ball to someone else and they messed up. It's you yourself and then your teammate to support. And it's also good coaches. Like if you get your coach that supports you all the way, it's going to be fun. If you lose every match, as long as you have that one coach or that one friend to come and support you, it's incredible.
Tell us about your community. What's the community support like in Brookfield for you guys as wrestlers, and how does that make you feel?
My local community when I started, it wasn't really a wrestling type of community. They've grown into it a little, but I travel around the state a lot. I mean, my family supports me, my mom supports me, and then I travel to like Columbiana, and Red Rose supports me. I traveled to West Virginia, Valkyrie supports me. Cleveland, Coach Reggie up there at Shaw, they can support me. So wherever I go, I believe there's people that can support me.
Well, we know that because you won Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley, and that's all about the support and who wants to vote for you. So we know that you have a strong system behind you. Let's talk more about that, and specifically the people whose support has meant the most to you, and the people that you think kind of build the person that you are. Who are some of those people in your life that have given advice, that have been role models, that have kind of been that anchor to what you're able to do?
Like my role models are my mom and my sister. They've supported me no matter what I've done throughout my life. And I'm going to say my coaches, like when I first started, I knew nothing. Like that's a new wrestler, but my coaches taught me everything I know. I look up to every coach that I once had, and I still have. I remember their names and matches I've had with.
Okay, last question here. I see that you've wrestled a lot of out-of-state wrestlers here, even in the regular season. What do you think the difference is from Ohio wrestling to maybe some of these other states that you see around the country? You've done a lot of that, so you have a good, unique perspective.
Some differences is like more offensive versus defensive. Like in Ohio, especially in my local community, when I wrestle, they're mostly defensive. We're gonna try to stay upper body more. But like in PA, I've felt they'll go straight for my legs. And I've learned to adapt. So I expect things that I'm not usually expecting from each matches.
My last question for you is about just off the mat. What are some of your interests, some of the things that kind of get you going when you're talking about not wrestling? What are some of the things that maybe schoolwork or classes you study? What are some things that you enjoy off the mat?
I enjoy soccer, coding, and then like artistic things like music and origami.
Well, I like it. Origami. That's the first we've heard of that too. Bringing a lot of firsts to the show today. I like it, Isabella. I like it. Before we let you go, we end these player profiles the same way every time. We want to give you the chance to take the limelight off yourself a little bit and shine on the people in your life that mean the most to you. So I want to give you as much time as you want to kind of give out some shout outs and thank yous to the people that you know deserve it.
I want to thank my mom for supplying everything I need to be able to wrestle the way I do and getting me to places that I need to go. I'm going to thank my sister for getting me into the sport of wrestling. And I want to thank my coaches again. Like without them, I wouldn't know what I know now. So thanks.
Isabella, we want to thank you so much for coming on in the middle of the day, talk to us, and we appreciate your time. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the season, and we can't wait to see you again real soon.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Isabella Williams, the big dog of the valley from Brookfield, coming on, joining us. Gary, what are some of your takeaways from that interview?
She's obviously really experienced. Being able to just spout off names from other communities around the state, where she's going and how she gets support from them. I mean, that's an experienced, serious wrestler right there. That's somebody that, her success is no surprise because she's doing everything she needs to do to get to that level.
I mean, you opened the interview with listing off all the accolades she had. We see All-American. We see state champion in, off-season tournaments. We see so much that she's been able to do at such a young age. It's pretty dang impressive knowing that she's got the rest of this year and then 2 more years of her high school career to get even more accolades and awards and postseason, success.
Yeah, she's done a lot in her young life. She's not even halfway through her high school career, so I think she's really got a bright future ahead of her. And I can't stress enough doing the out-of-state wrestling and then seeing all the different styles and all the different coaching. That's just going to take her so many places.
Don't you love the fact, and she's another one that we've had where her sister is the one that got her into wrestling, or a family member is the one that kind of pulls them in to wrestling. You gotta love it when it's a family connection. We've seen so many people that it's like a teammate brought them in, or they were asked by the coach in the hallways of the school to come in, which is great. But it's always better when you can say, "Hey, my sister or my brother kind of egged me into wrestling." A family affair.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the big thing about this sport is it's a lot of family tradition. I mean, if you're in the sport, most likely somebody in your family was in it, or you have a sibling that you're currently in it with. I can't tell you how many siblings I've coached on the same team, or one is in high school, one is in junior high. It's definitely one that once it gets in your blood, it doesn't seem to leave.
Gary knows that it's not out of his blood yet, so he's still going at it. Gary, we had a great showing over the weekend. What do we have to recap from the weekend that was?
So it was the state regional dual tournament, which happens every year. And don't quote me, but I believe the way that it's done, the way that they choose, is that the individual district tournament, they tally up the points that your freshmen, sophomores, and juniors have scored, and the top 8, I believe, in that district will head to the regional to face off for a spot in the state tournament, in the state dual tournament. So you're qualified that way. And then if things happen, I do believe you can pull out. But from there, the top 2 head to the state tournament to make another 8 bracket. And from there, the winner becomes a state dual champion. And we talked before we went live. That's what South Range did a few years ago. That's how they became state champions. They were able to get to that state tournament, and when they got there, they made the most of it and came home, on top. So we do have a couple of YSN schools that are heading there. Austintown Fitch girls qualified, and then in Division II, Canfield's boys qualified.
When you talk about those 2 teams, Canfield boys, Fitch girls, what are some of the chances they have? I mean, you look at I'm sure you've had a chance to maybe look at the bracket or look at what they're going to be facing. What kind of chances do they have to come and make a run and bring home a team trophy for the wrestling duels?
When you get to that point, and everybody's got a chance. Everybody there is good. Everybody there is really, really good. And the difference in the dual tournament from the individual tournament, you can just have a handful of people that score your points for you. If you've got guys that are just head and shoulders above everyone else and they're getting pins, they're scoring a bunch of points. The difference between getting pins in the championship round to getting decisions in the consolation round as far as points go for the individual tournament is huge. But in a dual tournament, you can only score a maximum of 16 points, and that's it. So the dual tournament, you've got to be good from top to bottom, from 106 up or 100 pounds and up on the girls' side. So, I believe anybody has a chance. Those 2 teams have just as good a chance as anybody. But the winner of those state dual championships are the teams that are the most solid all the way up. They don't have any holes. They almost never have any weight class that they're really struggling in because you can't get to that level if you've got holes in your lineup. You just can't do it. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. They both got a good chance. I mean, and at the very least, you're a top 8 team in the state.
Right. And that's why we are cheering on Canfield boys and Fitch girls. We hope that they can bring home a trophy. We would love that, and we'll definitely highlight them if they are able to bring home a trophy. Gary, the other thing that happened, I believe yesterday, was the wrestling tournament draw. So, as we talked about last week, we won't necessarily be able to preview matchups because those aren't announced until the Thursday right before district. So we won't be able to say, hey, this person's wrestling this person, or here's this person's, line up to a district championship. But we do know where these teams are heading and what districts they'll be in at least. So we kind of can formulate like this is the team that they might have to deal with, or these are some of the teams that are going to this location with them. What are some of the things that stand out when you talk about the wrestling draw and where some of these teams are going to be going?
So I just know about ours in the Division III. Those are the ones that we had to, I had to go into that meeting. And it's based on a point system. I talked about this a little bit last week. You have a form that you fill out with each weight class, and there's a number you can assign from 1 to 10. 1 is you just have a wrestler in there that has a losing record, and a 10 is you have a returning state champion. So you do that through all your weight classes. The points are added up, and in our district, it was from 1 to 59. You were picking where you went of one of 4 sectionals. Ours kind of went the way that I expected it to. It kind of went where a lot of teams really try to stay close because you can get a couple of hours away, and that's tough on parents. But I believe if there is a way to get an advantage to avoid somebody that, you've had trouble with, or, you're trying to get the best sectional finish that you can, and, maybe you've got a couple of guys or girls that you've already lost to, you want to stay away from. That's where the strategy comes in as being a head coach. But I don't think anything went too far out of the ordinary. There are a couple of sectionals. The one in Northwestern, West Salem Northwestern High School's got 3 really, really good teams going there. That one, I'll be interested to see how that goes. But the other sectionals, I think things kind of were where they thought they would be. And I think that they're going to be pretty competitive. The top teams are kind of almost evenly split, except for that one in Northwestern. I think that they've got an extra really good team there. So to see that finish there will be interesting. But the rest of those sectionals, at least for Division III, I think things are kind of right where we expected them to be.
And those sectionals will start a week from this weekend, right?
No, the 28th.
28th, so 2 more actually weeks. There'll be
Yeah.
one. No, so for basketball fans out there, they will start the week of the boys basketball start. The girls start next weekend, the 21st, which will be a week from Saturday. The boys will start the week after. So wrestling will line up with boys basketball when you're talking about sectionals there. Gary, one of the things that we always will help you preview, of course, is the Buck Bailey coming up on Saturday, Valentine's Day. Talk about it. Talk about what you expect from it and some of the things that might be going on this year down in Wellsville.
We got another great response. It's really turned into everything that we hoped for. We've got 25 teams signed up now. We've got some really good teams coming. Indian Valley, Minerva, Central Valley from Pennsylvania is coming. South Range will be there. A lot in the YSN family, Columbiana, Latonia, East Palestine. We will be there. There are Beaver Locals coming. Steubenville Big Reds coming. There's going to be a lot of great wrestling. We're going to get things started off at 9 o'clock. We're going to go straight through. We're not taking any breaks. We had over 200 wrestlers there last year. We're expecting the same this year. It's on Valentine's Day, so if your sweetheart loves the sport of wrestling, what better way to make their day fulfilled than to come down to Wellsville and watch some wrestling on the mats. We'll have a fully stocked concession stand, and I passed on that idea you had, Anthony, earlier in the season. Get some roses down there just in case. So we might have some roses there. You won't even have to stop and grab any on the way to the match.
Just in case there's that one significant other that's a little bit salty, maybe that they have to spend the Saturday at a wrestling gym, and then, soften that blow a little bit. Maybe some roses, some Valentine chocolate, pick it up before you go. Not everyone might be thrilled that that's how they're spending their Valentine's Day. So you got to make sure you soften the blow a little bit.
Absolutely, yes.
Gary, I know you're thrilled that's how you're spending it. When you talk about some of the things that you're excited about doing this for the Wellsville program, what does it do for your program in Wellsville? What does it do for your wrestlers in Wellsville?
Well, when you have a home tournament, I think it's your chance to, let everybody see your school and let everybody see your facilities, and also let everybody see the people in your community. These tournaments, it's not easy to organize a wrestling tournament. The amount of hands that you need on deck to be available to help with running the tables, with setting up the mats, that's a whole other thing. If you've got mats that need moved, whether it's your maintenance guys or it's the team getting together, you've got to have people to do that. You've got to get the referees. The athletic director's got a ton of work to do for this. They've got to get the referees set up. They've got to get if they got a resource officer to come in. And then at a wrestling tournament, you've got people taking tickets at the front and then sometimes at the doors. And then you've got clock operators. It's just as there's actually more people needed for a wrestling tournament than there are for basketball games, just because of so many things that are going on. And then, as a wrestling match is going on at a tournament, there is a sheet of paper, a score sheet, where the referee's telling the score. There's somebody operating the clock and the score that everybody can see, and then someone else is writing it down on that bout sheet. And then you've got somebody out that has to run out on the mat and tap the referee. They're counting down from 10 down, and then when it gets to 0, they tap the referee so that he can blow the whistle to stop the match. That your coaches, you've got people that have either donated food, or if you're blessed like we are, we have food donated to us, and we have the school preparing food for us in the coaches' room. Our booster club is running the concession stand, so they need volunteers to go in there. It's a chance for everybody to see the community that comes together, for how well you can run the tournament, and for people to you can leave a really good impression on them when they walk away for the night. If you get all of your ducks in a row, you get the people that are get enough people there, and the people there actually really care about the program. It's a good way to show your community off.
Out of curiosity, how many referees are coming? Like, how many referees are needed for this kind of event? How many referees are coming to kind of be there all day?
So, we're running 3 mats, so you technically only need 3, but that's tough on them because that means that they're not going to get a break. So if you only have the 3 refs for each mat, you just need 1 for each mat. Then you're going to have to stop the tournament for them to go to the restroom, to get something to eat, to just take a breather and grab some Gatorade. So I think that we're going to have 5 there so that they can keep rotating each other and we don't have to stop. That saves, you could save easily an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours by having 5 refs as opposed to 3 to just get through the tournament. So we think it's worth it to have the extra refs. So we're going to pay to have those guys there so we can keep things moving on. And it's good to have an extra set of eyes on the finals. The finals of tournaments are always the ones that people are watching, the ones that people really care most about, the ones that matter because they've got the best kids wrestling each other. So when that happens, we usually have 2 refs on the first place mat. And we might even have 2 on the 3rd and 4th because we're just doing 1 through 4. We could have 2 on each mat, and that just helps things flow better, helps the calls be made correct, to make sure they got second set of eyes. If the main ref didn't see, the backup can come up and say, hey, this happened, or they were out, or they were in, or time was up, something like that. So really, if you got 3 mats, I'd say 5 would be ideal to have there, but you can get by with 3.
Then the most important question, of course, that anyone's going to ask about this weekend: what is on the menu in the coaches' room? What do we have food-wise coming to us in the coaches' room?
Well, I know that Nutrition Inc., that's who provides the food for the school. They're going to be providing some breakfast and some lunch for us, some soup, some sandwiches, some breakfast stuff, some coffee. We're going to have coffee. We're going to have donuts. I know that we're getting chicken, we're getting JoJo's, we're getting meatballs, we're getting some pizza, we are getting really more food than we probably need. Casseroles and so make your own sandwiches, bags of chips. We're getting a lot of drinks, Gatorade, soda. I mean, Anthony, it is an unhealthy wrestling coach, and I'm raising my hand here, dream lunchroom because it's all free and you can eat as much as you want. So we're going to feed them well. We fed them really well last year, and they did a good job by barely leaving the utensils. I think that everything was eaten in that room last year because we had a lot of great donations from our community. I just kept having people message and call me and tell me they were bringing something, and it would all really went to good use. There was a soup in there last year that people kept come back and asking for it a couple of times. And we're going to have some pasta in there as well, some hot sausage. I think we even had some gumbo. A former coach of ours, Bobby Sims, he made us some Louisiana special last year that had rice and all of the fixings that you would have down south there. So we might be getting that again. So if you want me to save a plate, I will send you some pictures and you just tell me what you want.
I was not anticipating gumbo.
Yeah.
We're going down to the bayou.
Yeah, it was great. It really was.
Ooh, that shocked me. When I heard gumbo, I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute."
Yeah.
No, as well documented on YSN, I am a plain Jane. So if there's any plate you're gonna save me, it's probably some pasta, maybe, and maybe a slice of cheese pizza. But outside of that,
We'll have those. We'll have those. for
okay,
sure.
good. You might need after today. You might need some avocado melts because
Hey,
apparently
yeah.
that's a big thing.
That's the healthiest wrestler we've had on here. That's for
Right,
sure.
like even
You-
like her
you know,
guilty
you-
pleasure is strawberry yogurt, which
yeah,
is
you
pretty
gave
good
her an
for you.
opening to say anything she wanted, and she said yogurt, and that's
There's
never
I mean,
been
I know
done.
yogurt's not like the pristine healthy snack, but I mean,
That's pretty
it's
good.
pretty healthy to
Pretty
eat
good.
yogurt as a snack. Way to go, Isabel. That's why you're an
Good
all
job.
American.
Way to go.
All American diet, all American, sweet tooth. We love it. Gary, one of the things that we also kind of like to talk about is just as we gear up towards the postseason. I know we ask you this a lot, but now it's kind of becoming more of a reality. What are some names? Like, what are some names that you're thinking as the season goes on? Man, they're looking good every week. They're putting up good results. They can really make a run into the state championship.
It's the same names that we've talked about this year. You've got the guys from Beaver Local. They've got several there that could really get to the top of the podium. I saw Bobby Buhite. He dropped, I believe, down a weight class this past week, so that was a really interesting one to see there, down to 144. And on the girls' side, there are several girls that we've got that we've had on that I think really got a good chance. Our guest today, I think so. The Fitch girls, a couple from Poland. I hate to say anybody. I hate to point anybody out individually and leave anybody out, but I think that we've got another good year coming ahead of us, and I don't think that I've ever been as confident to say that we'll. Last year, I think I said we might have one state champ, and I'm not sure how many we had total, but I think this year that we're going to get a couple, especially between the boys and girls. I think we're going to have multiple state champs this year in the YFN family.
So I'll go ahead. I'll put my flag on this statement. Someone from Louisville is going to win a state championship. Like
Okay.
that's this. I think we're at that point where we can say pretty confidently, like one of those wrestlers probably going to win state because they're just having like a phenomenal year. I would be shocked if one didn't. Girls side, like Ella Thomas and Paige Cowan, I'm watching
Yeah.
close because they both have been, gotten better last year than they were the year before. They're upperclassmen. You just kind of feel like they're hungry. This might be the year where they make a big, huge run towards the top of that podium.
Yeah, for sure. I think they're both ranked in the top 3 right now in their weight classes, so they're right there.
And
I mean,
I believe last year Cowan got hurt towards the end, but she had a good chance to make
Yes.
a run if she would have stayed healthy. So
yeah.
she's probably eyeing that podium like crazy. Like, man, it was my time last year, and circumstances didn't work my way. This year, you're locked in completely.
Yeah, and when I've seen her wrestle this year, she's been super aggressive. I think that she's hungry. That's a good way to put it. She's ready. She wants to move up on that podium.
when that happens to you, we talked about it last year when it happened. So heartbreaking because it's out of your control. Like an injury is something that like just happens, and you kind of sit there and you feel like I was doing everything right, things were going my way, and there's something that's completely out of my control happened that cost me from being at the top of that podium. Luckily, she had a next year, and she was able to kind of have those eyes on the prize again. So the next year, you kind of just feel like, nothing's going to stop me this time around.
Yeah, for sure. In her freshman year, I think she kind of opened up some eyes at that state tournament. Her opening match, I don't know if she beat the predicted champ or somebody that was predicted really high. She won on a takedown literally as time ran out. I mean, she popped her head up and was given the takedown as it went to 0. And that really propelled her to get onto the podium. So that had to have really driven her towards that year last year. And I think she made an upset in the quarterfinals.
Yeah. It was one of those ones.
Another big upset. I mean, that's 2 years in a row where she's upset somebody. It was just a shame that she got hurt. But man, I can't imagine she's going to come out just on fire out on that mat this year when she heads to Columbus. So yeah, she's definitely one that we'll be watching for. Liverpool has a couple of girls that I think are going to be on the podium
absolutely
this year. And all through the girls' side, when I look at our rankings here from YSN. More schools popping up, girls from all over. We've got them from Perry to Brookfield to Southeast Liverpool. I mean, they're all over the place. The sport is just growing and growing, especially on that girls' side. And you're just seeing more and more quality wrestlers popping up. It's just really exciting.
Yeah, and PSA to any journalists out there, we learned this last year. If a wrestler gets hurt, give them space. You're not gonna be breaking down any walls by getting into the face of a hurt wrestler trying to get them an interview. Please don't do that again this year if it happens. That was such a shame that happened to Paige last year. I remember seeing it going, oh my gosh, like what's this guy doing? We'll talk more about that when state comes around, and obviously Chris Colucci, and I'm sure you and I think Greg McAfee wants to go down there with you guys. You'll be down there doing the same thing you always do with great coverage at the Schottenstein Center this year for wrestling in state. We can't wait for that. We can't wait for more wrestling throughout the week. We can't wait for the Buck Bailey and hearing how that went. We can't wait for a new batch of big dogs coming up pretty soon. We'll have more names for week 5 now of wrestling big dogs. So keep your eye out for that. Congratulations to Paige Menno from Salem, who won last week, and big voting turnout for wrestling and boys basketball last week. The girls side of basketball got to do better. But wrestling and boys basketball really stood out last week for a huge turnout in the voting. And Paige Minnow from Salem was the one that came out victorious. So congratulations to her. And we'll have a new batch of names coming up in a little bit. Keep your eyes out for that. Gary, another week gone by here on a cold, well, actually a warmer February day. It's like a heat wave out there, and it's in the 40s. We're sitting there like t-shirt, shorts. We're fine out here now because we've been dealing with nothing but sub 20 for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's good to be back in a little bit of heat wave. Thanks for coming on another week, and what a great Wrestling Wednesday it was. Before we get out of here, though, you know what we do to end the show every week. We say hi to one of our great sponsors, Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical, and you can find them at DickeyElectric.com. They sponsor the What's Your Spark? We do it every day. Here's one for you on a Wednesday. Man, that bump gets me pumped, man. Love that, All right, Gary, what is your spark today? What do you got? You're muted. Spark might be unmute your microphone.
Are you there, Anthony? Can you hear me?
Now we got you.
Okay. Sorry. I don't know what happened there. It wasn't muted, but this past couple of weeks, I spent time with my elementary team, the Wesville Tiger Mites, and they had their sectional and district tournament. And they had a really good showing this weekend at our district tournament. We had 4 state qualifiers come through. Then we had a lot of other kids who won matches in the district tournament and scored points for us. And every time that I go to these elementary tournaments and these Sundays that they get their wrestling in, it always reminds me of, how many people it takes to have a wrestling program from kindergarten on up through, your senior year. There's a lot of people who do a lot of things that they get, they don't do it for anything vain or any self recognition. They do it because they care about the kids in their community and the kids on that team. So watching them this weekend and all the people that are involved, it takes a village, that's for sure, to get a successful program. And you've got to have a bridge to your junior high and your high school, and you can't do that without that elementary team. So my spark goes out to the Wellsville Tigers, all of our coaches and parents and boosters that help us, and really to the elementary coaches and people that are involved everywhere, because this sport wouldn't be great without it.
It was funny that you bring up the youth of your sport, because yesterday me and DJ were talking about how youth levels in basketball, but we were talking basketball specific because it's basketball season, but it's really a blanket statement. It's all about just falling in love with the sport. And, in basketball, there are times when you see parents and some coaches kind of get it a little bit too serious and focus more on the wins and losses than they maybe should when the kids, 10U or 12U for that sport. Gary, what's the kind of state of youth wrestling in the sense of trying to make kids fall in love with the sport? Have they still really nailed that, or do you start to see in the big picture thing maybe losing that a little bit like we do in some other sports where it's become more about getting wins or getting recognition or like my 10-year-old is going to be D1 like we see a lot in baseball, softball, basketball, or is wrestling kind of pure right now in the youth as far as you can see?
That's a loaded question.
We're hitting you hard on a Wednesday.
Loaded that gun right up and handed it over to me. It just depends. There are places where there are people who are focusing on it, like on elementary wrestling, like they are in any sport where it's, it's wins or losses. But I do think, I'm giving my honest opinion here, I do think the sport has kind of step back a little bit from that. And I do think that coaches and parents are getting better at realizing that this isn't the end goal. This elementary wrestling is not the end goal, that you're trying to build for something better and bigger. And I don't see the burnout that I saw probably 10 years ago. If I'm being honest, and this is just anecdotal, I don't know if this is just me, but, sports growing in popularity. We've seen the numbers from around the country. It's growing. The boys' numbers are the highest that they've ever been, and the girls' numbers as well. The boys' numbers are the highest they've ever been since the 70s, and in the 70s they counted junior high numbers in with it. So, and that's because there are schools adding programs. You don't add programs without interest, and you don't get interest if it doesn't build from the ground up. So I do think that is a theme that people are kind of putting it in its proper place, at least better than it was in the past, as far as this elementary match and this elementary tournament is not the most important thing, and it's definitely not the most important thing in the future. It's not going to matter. We need to put it in its proper place. But I'm not going to say it's perfect, because there are for sure places where, those things are put up higher on the pedestal than they should in the grand scheme of life. So I'm trying to give you an honest answer here to that question. I think it's improved. That's my answer.
All right, my spark of the day. I'll be at another senior night tonight in Boardman as they recognize their seniors in the girls' side as they go up against Howland. And I've been to a lot of senior nights over the last, 7-8 years that I've been with YSN. Senior nights in every sport. And from what I can tell, and this could be an anecdotal too for me, because it's just I don't go to every senior night, so I can't say like big picture. I can't back this up with numbers. I have seen more teams kind of come out on fire on senior night for the ones that kind of go a little bit all out for senior night compared to ones that you see that kind of going through the motions and just kind of let's get these seniors in, get them out. You see that every now and then. But the ones that kind of take a little bit more care in the senior night seem like the teams kind of respond to that and they come out on fire during the game. And I know that's a lot of lot of coaches kind of struggle with senior nights because it's a lot of emotions for not just the seniors, but the teammates that love these seniors and aren't going to get to play with them again. And then they have to kind of refocus and get on basketball and try to win a game right after they kind of deal with all that. I've been to a lot, and from my experience, the ones that kind of go a little bit more with senior night, lead into senior night a little bit more, are the ones that have a little bit more success from the basketball side of things, or whatever sport you're playing, volleyball, softball, baseball. You have I've seen a little bit more success from the teams that lean into senior night a little bit more than the ones that kind of make it a quick thing with not a lot of, pomp and circumstance. And then that's kind of, to me, it's kind of counterintuitive, because you'd think the less deal you make it, the less emotions you'd have to deal with, and the easier it would be to kind of separate that from the sport. But I think the more you're seeing as time goes on, the more you let those kids feel that early during that moment, the more they'll be able to let it go when the ball goes up in the air, or for basketball purposes, when the ball goes up in the air. I don't know, Gary, you've been to senior nights, of course, at Wellsville. Do you kind of see one side or the other where you think it's easier for kids to let go of that emotion if you can lean into senior night a little bit more, or do you think it's harder for kids maybe to let go of emotions if you let them feel it real strongly right before the game?
I mean, yeah, we just had our senior night on Friday. It was for all the winter sports. It's definitely something that gets the kids up. I don't know how you're a kid. That saying, the smaller the person or younger the person, the bigger the feelings. I don't know. It depends on each individual. I've only seen positives from it, at least here with us. The kids always get pumped up, and they seem to really bring their best out on senior night. And we did it at the boys basketball game. It was boys and girls basketball, cheerleading, and wrestling, and bowling were all honored. And I think that the kids of the boys basketball team really fed off of that, and they played great. They got a win over United, and I don't know. I don't know how you separate that, Anthony. I don't know. You'd have to be a special person to be able to do that. I, at that age, would not be able to.
Point is, lean into senior night, because there's no reason not to. Lean into it. Let it be a spectacle. Let it be a thing. Let the kids feel what they're going to feel. Then I think they'll perform better for you when the ball goes up in the air, if that happens. If they feel like it's rushed and it's not really it's not catering to what they have to go through, then they might let those emotions slip into the actual game. And then I think, in my humble opinion, then you might get those senior night jitters or senior night tightness that we see sometimes out there, and you might get a little bit more emotion filled during the game if you don't lean into senior night before the game. Just my opinion. Out there, that's what the spark is. That's what the spark is. People will love it. People will hate it. That'll do it for today's show. We hope you love this show. We hope you love it. We hope you come back for more. We'll be better tomorrow on a Thursday. We have Gannon Force coming to you from Lordstown. He is 1 point away from 1,000 at Lordstown. He'll probably get that on Thursday in his game that he's going to be playing on. So we're going to talk to him tomorrow, me and DJ, about what it's going to be like to have that moment and be 1 point away from it. And we can't wait for that one. Love talking to people from Lordstown. They're one of the newer schools at YSN, so love having Gannon on during the show tomorrow, 12 to noon. Me and DJ will be there with that and much more. And as always, may the sports be with you, everybody. Have a good day.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.